Welcome to VaynerBox. I'm Bambi Francisco.
And I'm Ezra Royce.
This week our guest host is Noah Doyle. He's the managing partner at Javelin Venture Partners, which is an early stage venture firm. And this week we're going to take a look at Picwing, which wants to be the world's easiest way to print photos. So let's take a look at Edward Kim, the CEO and founder's pitch.
Picwing.com is the world's easiest way to print your digital photos online. It's really simple. All you do is email or upload your photos from your phone or computer. And that's it. We automatically print and mail your photos to your friends and family on your distribution list. You could have your mom, grandma, in-laws, whatever. We'll print them out and mail it to everybody. Photo printing companies have mainly competed on price for the last decade or so. Picwing is really competing by making it much easier to print your photos online. We have two ways to pay for the service. We have a monthly plan where users can pay for just by month to month, and they get a certain number of prints every month. Or users can pay as you go, so they can pay for each photo they email. We're a growing company, and we are bootstrapping it, so we're not necessarily looking for funding, but we're definitely open to speaking with investors.
So obviously a category that's had a lot of successful companies, and an area that has seen some good innovation, and at the same time there's a lot of opportunity for doing things better. I think the pitch was nice, and I think he does a good job explaining what he's trying to do. My initial thoughts...
Pitch was very, very clear.
Very clear, very clear. From a business standpoint, I think there are a number of opportunities and things that you would want to focus on to build this business relatively quickly. Because first off, you've got to have a huge scale to make a business like this work. I think the photo sites have done a great job at creating viral content. So, come look at my photos, get other people to look at my photos. So you got to do things to have the product itself reach the people in the photos, or people who care about the photos, grandparents and whatever, to come and look at them, to get more and more and more people familiar with the product. So if you can develop a really nice self-propelling engine, it's been proven that model works with photos. Without that, you really need a distribution strategy that's going to be effective, or a partner.
Right, you do. I mean, and that's what happened to Photobucket, right? Which latched onto MySpace, and within months had millions of visitors, and eventually they paved the way to an exit for themselves as well. But yeah, I followed a lot of photo companies for decades, and it seems that Flickr. Well, that's a destination site, but clearly it was an easy proposition, easy value proposition. Just upload your photos and share with everybody else. And Photobucket, share your photos with your friends on MySpace. And it all comes down to can you aggregate that massive amount of users?
Yeah, it's a very mature space. And the challenge for Picwing really is going to be to differentiate, because printing is really just a feature on all the other big photo sharing sites, and they all have it. So, how do they stand out from the crowd? It's going to be hard.
Which is interesting, because that is all they want to focus on, right? You heard what he said. He said, this is not on price. This is, we really want to make it drop dead simple for you to print.
Right.
And so I like that. I mean, I find it hard right now to print photos. I mean, I'm sure there's an easy way, but I just haven't taken the time.
Yeah, so you've got Shutterfly at one end, which does different photo books and different kinds of products. You have the photo sites we all know that do various kinds of photo uploading and printing and delivery of CDs and all that kind of stuff. So that being simply a feature and a supply chain play is going to be tricky. So I think that, maybe not, maybe there's something I'm not seeing, or are they sort of, as we talked about in a few episodes ago, Zoopit, relative to Yahoo Mail, which just got acquired. They were really a feature that was really innovative, that brought something new to the existing site. So if these guys can say, there's a hole in the big photo sites portfolio of offerings, maybe we fill that hole. That's one strategy. But if they're going to be their own company, then it's just going to have to be really, really, really elegantly done and effective.
But no, you said it. This is sort of a commodity that every company does. So would they even purchase a company that improves that? I think Shutterfly made like $700,000 in the most recent quarter from printing, and they're hopefully going to make 20 to 30 million a year, a few years out. So it's not. It doesn't sound like a booming business. Yeah,
I think the total photo market is huge. It's been a challenge to make it they bring the ease of use to where people can, really print as if it's in the same way as bringing a camera into a store, the way it used to be easy to print, or just printing from your own printer. And what are these services, in addition to ease of use, is there a price advantage? Is there a convenience advantage? It all has to be there in order to win people over. There's probably a place for a just mindlessly simple, anybody can do it, push one button, get your prints the next day without thinking about it. Kind of like Netflix simple. And can they, if you're going to build a company around that, the key is the partnerships.
Right.
Going out to all the different sites, all the places where people use photos today, and bring that feature to them. So that's a possibility. Building a brand around a destination site, that could be really hard with such a narrow value proposition. Are you really going to be able to appeal to such a broad audience?
It has to be really simple, like Flickr. Just upload your photos, and it doesn't matter who you share it with. It's for everybody.
Yeah.
So, but I think you're right. So let's go to advice. So distribution sounds pretty key. Should
It's
they
either going to be
partner
in product,
with?
as I was saying, or as Noah was saying, it's got to be partners. But this is a game of distribution,
Right.
so you have to get distribution.
So you
in some way.
probably, I imagine Ed probably has thought of this already, or
Sure.
Edward. So yeah, you can go down the list of social networks, Bebo, High Five, and have some evangelists there uploading and using your service.
iPhone
But where
app.
else?
I mean,
Where else
iPhone app,
where else
places where
should
people
he
take their
look?
photos.
Where else should he look?
I think that the viral aspect. I think that if you think about opportunities for taking advantage of the content itself, I would say look in the user and look in the content. So you have photos that people are very passionate about. There's things they want. Can you do services, and can you identify and work with other companies that are in the photo game? And we looked at the guys who do the matching of photos.
Occipital?
Yeah. So are there next level features you can take using companies like that do something really clever and cool that now bring a new service that probably a bigger, older company isn't going to think of or be able to implement. So
Yeah,
I think things like that.
If you look at the photo sites that have taken off, Flickr's the best example. They all build a community, and they find a way to engage the users in the community time and time again. And I think what Picwing needs to do is, if they can generate their own community, that's great. But aside from that, go find the untapped places where people are taking pictures and have the potential to share them, or where it's relevant. And by adding that additional printing feature, make picture sharing really compelling, such as travel sites. Whenever you plan a trip, you usually take a camera. If you're going on vacation, you take a lot of pictures. Integrate with Travelocity, for example. Bring picture sharing into Travelocity.
Yeah, I had a heck of a time when I came back from Spain recently, trying to get my photos off the phone.
Your
I
phone.
had.
It's brutal.
Yeah. And
Ridiculous.
so there is clearly an opportunity. And then
Why
the
didn't you use a
last piece
camera?
of advice on the operations side is I would look at other sort of web-to-print guys like Lulu and Blurb and folks who have basically, not exactly comparable, but have worked out the issues of how you do a cafe press. Other people who have done things which are taking things on the web and producing them into physical products and sending them out to people. So I think there's a decent number of companies you can look at, get some of the lessons learned from those companies in terms of what worked and didn't work, and build off of that as well. Because there's a number of those kinds of companies out there that you could learn a lot from.
I think one of the things that, Noah, you said it, that this is a commodity. It's just printing, and that's all he wants to focus on is really improving the printing or even the technology of it. And so maybe talk to or look at Shutterfly and Yahoo Photos and Snapfish and see what they're missing and what void they can fill, and really focus on creating a technology that they don't have, or a service that they don't have, and they can plug right into it.
Yeah,
So,
I think there is a significant possibility there, because I know just from personal experience, I recently took a trip to China, took 4,000 photos.
Wow.
My wife spent an hour with one of those major sites creating a photo album, and then she didn't save it, and the computer went to sleep. When it came back up, the whole thing was gone.
It's crashed, I'm sure. 4,000
So clearly there's
photos.
points of optimization in there, yeah.
So I think
All
there's
right.
an opportunity.
Last question, Noah, would you invest in this company?
I think it would be, based on just the concept, it's probably not a broad enough concept, I think. The value proposition isn't really deep enough to make much sense as an investment. It'd be hard to build the investment thesis around that. If they could show through execution that they could get those partnerships, build the traffic, and start to generate some early revenue, then I think you could construct a thesis around an execution-based play. I think also they need to find some of those early communities and show adoption among communities,
Yep.
and that ability to bring people back continuously to use the service multiple times, and then you'd have something interesting.
Yeah.
Once you get there, Edward, then you can bring your PowerPoint over to Noah at Javelin Venture Partners, and he'll take a look. Thanks, guys.
Great.
Thanks, Ezra.
Thank you.
Thanks, Noah. You've been watching VaderBox. I'm Bambi Francisco. We'll see you next time on Vader News.